Hi, I'm Kerry with Best of Us in Retirement, and apparently I have some unique ideas on retirement and how you should pursue retirement. I did a video just last week on investing or when to take your Social Security, and I suggested that if you don't really have a need for it, or if you want it to turn it into a real income source, take it as early as you can and then invest it to produce more income than it is itself. And thus, rather than spending it month to month, invest it month to month, and then let it, through your knowledge of investing, produce income, and then the principal is there forever. Potentially, you pass it on to your heirs. And I got some interesting comments that I had never thought of that. That was from Love and Joy. And then Bruce D says, no one else ever suggests this. Well, maybe it's because no one else is really a financial advisor and is heavy into investing and understands the stock market and understands the privilege that we have to invest in companies that are going to change the way we live. So I looked at that and I said, okay, why don't I create some sort of a portfolio that takes your Social Security or takes any other form of income that you might have that you want to invest to produce additional income while maintaining the principal. Why don't I create a portfolio like that? And that's when I got a email from Khaled, who was sharing with me his portfolio that is geared towards dividends. And I thought, wow, I could take this a step further and not only produce dividends, but produce growth. Because let's say you've got an adequate income, you've got some investments, you've got a pension, maybe your wife has a pension as well, and but you would like, and you're taking your Social Security, but you would like to take that Social Security and turn it into an income producing asset. All right. So what I would want to do there is invest in a mixture of stocks and maybe some bonds that spit off dividends, but also have growth potential. Now, what might that look like? Well, over on my other channel, Best of Us Investors, I preach, I don't say anything, I preach, that the real key to investing is understand where the economy is going. And my best example of that is my generation. My generation is the baby boomer generation. Before my generation, the cereal aisle in the grocery store had two boxes of cereal, oatmeal and something else. But as my generation aged, got up to 6 years old, the cereal aisle filled up. And today it's a whole aisle of cereal. This was done for the baby boomers because we had a sweet tooth. Before my generation, a garage had one car in it. And then as my generation got older, as children got older, wives went to work, and we got two cars in the garage. Again, that was driven by the baby boomer generation. And then as we turned 16, we got a third car in the driveway. So the baby boomer generation built the auto industry. Think about this. The Japanese never really gave any thought to sending their cars over, or the Germans, until the baby boomers got of age and said that might be something we'd be interested in. So we built the automobile industry. And I think the crazy one, up until the pandemic, we built the cruise industry, because in my dad's day, the only people who went on cruises were the very, very, very wealthy people, watch the movie Titanic, that didn't have anything else to do. But today, Royal Caribbean and Norwegian and some of these other cruise lines have built their business on the baby boomers, because the baby boomers have two things. They have time and they have money. So if I can follow the baby boomers and follow their money in my investment portfolio, I can build a dividend plus a growth. where would that be? Well, one of the things I like to invest in that I know the baby boomers are going to produce both dividend are REITs, real estate investment trust. The one that screams at me is trailer parks. I can invest in a trailer park and it'll give me a 3, 4, 5% dividend, but it'll also give me maybe a 30% growth because baby boomers are downsizing. They're wanting to go to more tropical climates. And what do they find inexpensive in a nice community? Trailer parks. So I want to invest in that. What else might there be? Well, whether you want to believe it or not, you're going to eventually end up in a hospital. So there are REITs, real estate investment trusts, who actually invest in the hospital and then lease it to the hospital people. They pay a nice dividend. Are they going to grow? You bet they are, because there are 79 million of us, baby boomers, who are aging. We're going to flood those hospitals. So the other thing, until we flood the hospital, is we're going to go to the doctor's office, all right? The doctor doesn't want to own the building he's in. He wants to lease it. So he goes to a real estate investment trust. They buy the building from him and lease it back to him. He then gets to deduct the rent that he pays. So I want to be in that. Then there are pharmaceutical companies that pay a nice dividend, and guess again, they're in the healthcare field, and the healthcare field is going to explode as us baby boomers age. So what I see I want to build for you with your help is a portfolio that's made up of growth stocks that pay dividends. And I want those growth stocks tied into an event. And that first event is the aging of the baby boomers. The second event is the corona crisis. As we enter a healthcare revolution, the way that medicine is going to be delivered is not to treat your condition, but instead to cure your condition. And that's going to be done through genome therapy and protein therapy, something I talk a lot about over on my investment channel. So let me show you the portfolio that Khaled sent me and how you and I are going to adapt this, and then how I'm going to make it available to you so that you can see and play with it to see it, make sure it fits your needs. And when I say fits your needs, I'll talk about that after you see Khaled's portfolio. Okay, what I want to show you here is the portfolio that Khaled sent to me. And he had sent it to me to ask me to analyze it and give him some feedback on his dividend tracking portfolio. And what he has done is created a portfolio that is actually interacting with other sites, other websites. As you can see here, he has Apple is showing a today's change of up 4.2%. Well, where does he get that data? If we look up here, it's actually connected to a Google financial website that is feeding it, and it feeds it on a daily basis. And so this is very advanced. It's also here, it's giving annual gains, it's feeding, it's interactive, and that's what I wanted. I was impressed by it. So what I wanted to do was then, with your help, let's build a portfolio. I just did a video on investing your Social Security payments. Where should you invest them? And let's create a portfolio collectively amongst us that would give us good income, or we could produce income to subsidize our other retirement income. And as I said, I want to focus on stocks that not only give a decent dividend, but also, here's one that gives you 5%, but also is in a category that has growth. Okay, let's look at this one. It's and I haven't looked at it in detail, but on the surface, it looks like something that would be advantageous. It pays a 5% dividend. It's in the healthcare field. We know that's going to grow because baby boomers are aging. And its name is AbbVie, ABBVIE. So that on surface looks like a good one. I know the name Amgen. It's also healthcare. It pays a dividend of 7%. So I look at that and I say, it's going to pay me 7% on my money, but in addition to that, it has excellent growth potential because it's in the healthcare field. And he has several others, Bristol Myers, Cardinal Health. Then he has Caterpillar. We have a huge infrastructure package that could potentially be coming our way, and it pays a 4.5% dividend. A good combination. On the other hand, you'll notice that I have American States Water in its utilities, and it pays a 1.46. I don't like utilities. They have, particularly when you get into utilities that are tied to electricity. Here's Commonwealth Edison. Pays a 3% dividend, but I don't know that I'm not going to need my utility if I have a solar panel on the back of my house and a battery in my basement. So I'm not interested in technologies here or in utilities. Here are two stocks that are interested in technology. That's HP, that's the printer company, and Intel. These are two companies that are being surpassed by the Asian equivalents of them. So I don't want to be in them, even though they pay not so much of a dividend, but some. So I want to build something that's going to give me income as well as growth. Here's again Johnson & Johnson and Merck. We know who they are, 4%, 2.6%. And then there are REITs. Now, Khaled doesn't have a lot of REITs in here, but I want to put some trailer companies. I want to put some storage units. I want to put some REITs that are the companies who own the hospitals that we're going to be going into. I want to own some companies that own the medical buildings that we go to meet with our doctors. So they're going to pay me a good dividend, but I also see growth potential. So what do I want to do with this? I want your input. I want you to go into the comments and say, Carrie, have you considered this stock for your retirement income growth portfolio? Okay, that's Khaled's portfolio, and this is the crazy thing about this YouTube channel, is it's not all about me. I could not have created that portfolio. I don't have that knowledge. But because of the internet and because of the interest of people like you and Khaled, you'll say, hey, I can do that. So you help me pick the stocks, Carrie, and I'll give you the tools to track it. And then I say, Khaled and I got something for you. Okay? So that's what this needs to be. But I need your help. As I said, I need you to tell me some stocks that you think fit into both this growth category and dividend category. And then we'll develop from there the philosophy of, okay, I've got $100,000, I've got some income, but what I'd like from that $100,000 is another $10,000 or $12,000 a year to supplement my other retirement income. Well, how do you do that? You aren't going to find a dividend or a bond that pays you 10 or 12%. So what do? You find some stocks that pay you a 3 to a 7% dividend, but then you find stocks that are going to grow. And so their share price is going to go up. So you not only take out the dividend as a form of income, but you liquidate some of the growth stocks to add additional income to your for your retirement needs. So what I want to teach you is there's another way to do this, and that way is to use companies that are going to grow as you age and then produce you income through both dividends and through growth. And our goal is basically to not take that $100,000 and deplete it, but instead create a growth engine around it, that it grows as well as paying dividends, and we take some of the growth and we actually keep the principal, the original investment, either the same or make it grow larger. That's what I want to help you do. This is what I learned how to do as a financial advisor. I'm a CFP, a CHFC, and a CLU, but never was really allowed to share with my clients as a financial advisor because there is some risk around this. And with risk comes liability. And so I worked for Ameriprise. They didn't want the risk. They didn't want the liability. So their answer was basically just diversify, so that when if and when they got sued, they said, we followed the principles of investment. We had them well diversified. But I don't diversify. I take a look at what's happening in the world I live in, and then putting myself in a position to take advantage of change. And change is, if you haven't figured it out, a healthcare revolution, an aging of the baby boomers. And you need to know the baby boomers are the wealthiest generation in the history of mankind. So if we can put our money to work and add the Social Security that we're receiving to that money, we can have a better life. And that's what I want to teach you to do. But I need your help, okay? Right now, we just passed 1,600 subscribers. And this channel's only been up about 90 days, which is good. But we need 100,000. We need 100,000 subscribers because I need 100,000, at least 100,000 minds thinking like I'm thinking. 100,000 Khaleds that say, hey, I can help you do this. I can give you this piece of knowledge that I have that, Carrie, you don't have, and we together can make a better situation. That's what this channel's all about. But it only works if you subscribe and you give me a thumbs up and you give me your feedback. Okay, that's the only way it works. Now, I'm going to find a way. We'll probably set up a Patreon or something like that, where we have a website that you can go to, that you can access all of these spreadsheets that I'm making, so that you can download them into your house and you can play with them and you can work with them. And we'll get somebody who does a video that really explains how you make them work. That's what this is all about. This is not about Carrie. Carrie's 76 years old. Some of you are 50 years old. You're going to need someone else to step in when I go to that cruise forever. Okay? So that's best of us in retirement. And this is, although a young 26-year-old disagreed with me when I said this is the best part of your life, every day should be the best part of your life. Whether you're 26 or you're 76, it should be the best. And you should be prosperous, you should be energized, and you should be healthy. Okay? One of you wrote and said, I'm 56 years old, I'm going to be retiring. I've been obese. I lost 50 pounds. Hooray for you. And it can be done. By the way, I just got my new Fitbit. I'm going to get a black band. I don't like the gray. But this thing, I'm going to tell you about this in the future. This is awesome. Where this is taking us, this and Apple Watch, you're going to, it's mind-blowing. It measures the amount of oxygen that is in my blood. We'll talk about it. All right, that's my take on a retirement growth and dividend, growth and income portfolio. I'll talk to you again soon about this.